Hi everyone. We're in FS2020 for this video. They've recently had a big update and it's made it a lot more user-friendly with the, I think it's DirectX 12, so I can't believe the frame rate boost it's got now. It's probably the smoothest flight sim experience I've ever had in virtual reality now. I'm sitting in a AS350 Squirrel, which is just a freely available one online that you can use and explain in Flight Sim 2020. It's not a bad model. It's free. It has to use the AirLandFS mod to make it run, because they basically somehow convert the aircraft fixed wing physics to make helicopters kind of work. It's pretty low physics wise. It's not that realistic as far as flying a helicopter goes. Nothing like X-Plane 12, not even in the same ballpark really, but the fact that you can still take off and land on the same spot and explore this the stunning scenery that's available in Flight Sim 2020 is so I'm going to try it out anyway. Now that the frame rates are good, I tried it a few weeks ago and it was just unflyable. Even with these I tried them, but yeah, but now it's I can't believe how good it is. The other reason is X-Plane 12 beta updated to beta 7 and it's basically destroyed the frame rate. It's unflyable, like it's just hourglass loading things, like loading symbols every 2 to 3 seconds. The frame rate probably barely makes 10, and this is on the same settings that I've done my previous videos on X-Plane 12 beta 5 and 6 were pretty good. 6 I definitely noticed it took a slight hit in the frames. X-Plane 7 is, beta 7 sorry, has all but destroyed the playability of X-Plane 12 beta at the moment for me. So hopefully they'll fix that, because I can't wait to get back in, because the helicopter physics are a lot better. But we're going to take off and we'll fly to the Mangamaire saddle. Here there's a scenery that my brother made that's in X-Plane 12. Obviously the few little differences, he's going to put the updated one that's in X-Plane 12 now into this one at some point, once we get helicopters, hopefully in November. So I'm going to take off here. They're very sluggish is what I notice. But anyway, we're going to fly up to the saddle and we'll see what the difference in the sims like compared to just with it. Not so much the helicopter, because we know these are subpar compared to X-Plane, but what the overall scenery is like. And yeah, but straight away you'll notice that the trees and the where they fit on the ortho is so much better than X-Plane. Even with the
May approach Clark Aviation 201 is type Airbus H125
with the
southwest of
ortho for XP and X-Plane with the overlay, but this is just so much more accurate. So you'll see this already looks a lot more basic than what it X-Plane. I have got a mod running in Flight Sim 2020 which makes the trees slightly lower and shorter than what they are in default mode, because like around towns and stuff, the trees are almost like you're in the Californian redwood forest. They're so ginormously big, whereas this plugin or mod that you can get online somewhere, one of the main sites, it just makes them a lot more a normal height for most countries. It does give it a few more gaps in amongst them though, because I guess the tree diameter shrinks a little bit with the reduced size. But when you look down there, there's a ton of trees, and the density is incredible that I'm able to get excuse me, these sort of frame rates. Just pick the pace up here a little bit. The lighting in this on the trees and the early morning sun is, I mean, hopefully X-Plane that, I mean it's beta so they're still working on it, but that's one thing. Their lighting on the trees as such at this point isn't that good. Like it's getting, like the overall lighting in X-Plane 12 is great now, but the how that haze and that affects like ridge tops and that in weather is obviously got a long way to go to get good with those sort of harsh outlines and weird pixelated effects on the clouds. But I think next month there, the update for helicopters is due out for this, so I'm just fingers crossed hoping that we can even get somewhere close to what the explained physics are, because this is while this is good just to fly around and look at the scenery, this is not quite what I'd consider still a flight simulator as such, flying choppers, because it's just not even remotely realistic, this squirrel. But it's at least you can land on a spot and hover around if you need to, albeit at a very simplistic style. We'll have a look at the outside view while we're flying. I mean, whoever's made this has done a brilliant job. It's just cool to have something like this in FS2020. Oh yep, there we go. We can see coming up on this next ridge. I'll just let me put up the controller. You can see Mangamaire and Mount Dowding. Just that long ridge out to the other side of it there, and then just through the gap between the two, you'll see Makarako, that sort of more of a pyramid-y shaped one straight in front. And the Boyd airstrip will be over down in here. Sorry, it's out of sight, but it'll be down in there. And as we cross over this ridge, we'll probably be able to see the North Arm, which I might have a go at trying to do a landing at. And straight in the distance you can see Mount Narahoe, and then also Mount Ruapehu, but it's probably, I don't know whether you'll be able to see them or not. It's just on the horizon there. Right, there's the North Arm airstrip down there, so I'm just going to go down. I'm so used to trying to fly in X-Plane 12, this is so sluggishly slow, but oh well, for the responsiveness I'm talking about. So if the helicopters actually work out being quite good, I'm going to have to start making some little hut sceneries for. There's a hut just there. They've actually got one positioned in here for that, even though it's a little house, it's still good. I'll fly around. Carry on going with just a flyby on that one. I didn't notice a helipad as such to land on there. We've just been on the grass probably. Right, we'll start climbing up towards Mount Dowding, and probably go past Pikikwatia. We'll land at the Mangamaire, and then we'll maybe spin around and come back past the Boyd back towards Helisika. But yeah, this just the low and slow on helicopters, like with this amount of trees and this smooth a frame rate, is just it's something incredible to see in VR. Like, there's just so much more depth to the flying, and the whole landscape is better off for it, I think. And the other thing I have noticed too, now that I've sort of been a bit of time in X-Plane with the ortho, Lindeman's ortho for XP overlay, I think the terrain mesh by default in FS2020 is a slightly higher resolution, which is overall, yeah, it gives a little bit more detail to the hills as such. Yeah, I'm still just almost gobsmacked at how good the frames per second are in this now. I might have to drag my Reverb G2 out and start playing it in 4K if it can handle it now. Which is the only reason I ever bought my Reverb G2 was for Flight Sim 2020, and it has never worked for me so far. So now that it's we're actually playable, I mean I've got frame rates to burn now. It's just so smooth. Right, might be. Climbing up through this bit of a saddle. Right. There's Mount Dowding just to our left there. and the Mangamaire saddle's straight in front, so we'll cruise down this valley, and then we'll pull around to the left and try and land right in front of the hut. Oh, these shadows are very good. Just this, it really sells it that it's early morning, the sun's rising, got that warmth look to it, just as it's hitting the sidelings. Here we are, coming around into the saddle. Try and slow this thing up. It's very wallowy on the corners, so it's not very easy to fly. But I mean, it's easy, but after flying something that's very responsive, it's not. If you sort of get what I'm getting at. There's our hut. Right, that looks neat with the sun. Just where the sun is, I'm not sure where the angle of it is, but it's obviously just beaming down through there now. Right, we'll lift off and we'll fly up past the old airstrip in this block. Having the little shrubs and stuff on the ground too, like the grasses and that, really adds just that little bit extra. Like I've got them turned fairly well down at the moment, but I have got them on low, I think, so there's enough there to add to the sort of immersion of the feel of when you get close to the ground. Anyway, you can see the grasses. Tussock. We'll come up here. I think my brother put an airstrip here so we could actually start it on our flights, and I think when you add an airstrip though, it automatically adds a windsock, which is something I'll try and figure out if it's possible to turn off and just add like a fire at the hut or something so there's just a bit of smoke. Because in reality this airstrip is quite, it used to be an old one, so it's not actually usable anymore, but it's quite washed out, which is why he said set it in the ground a little bit like this. You sort of can use it in like a Piper Cub or something in the sim, but you definitely cannot in real life. It's completely washed out. So we'll head back now for the void, so we'll just turn around, head back down the valley. It's neat, really neat. Just that early morning sun. This is sort of one of the tributaries of the start of the Rangataiki River.
New Zealand Centre Clark Aviation 201 is type Airbus H125 1 miles south of November Zulu Mike Alpha Sierra 3,900 feet. Request flight following.
ADC just, I think I must have a setting where it just auto does the calls for you, so everywhere you fly it kind of tries to do a flight following. Which I probably should turn off. It's really only good for doing fixed wing, like more IFR stuff. At the Mangamaire saddle, we're just flying over now. You see the track there with, I think it's the walking track through it. We'll head over this way and we'll probably start to get into the, once we get past the void, it'll be sort of where the boundary is at the Kawekas start. We'll have to try some more interesting weather flights in this, around the ranges like we do in X-Plane, and see what the difference, can try and compare the two with different weather scenarios. was an absolutely cracker morning. I think looking down over into there somewhere is the Mangamaire hut somewhere over there. I think the void should be just down over here around to our left in this valley down near the river. Oh yeah, I can make out the void airstrip over there. We'll just do a fly down the runway and or maybe pull up and do a landing at the far end of it, or we'll go up and see the hut maybe, and then land somewhere wherever there's a bit of a clear patch in the tussock. Big tussock filled valley. There's the airstrip just there. It's unrealistically got another windsock on it, but that's where the X-plane editor you don't have to have windsocks. I'm not sure because my brother's made it. I've never used the FS2020 editor yet, so I'll have to start getting a little bit used to it and figure out how to make stuff with it. The hut must be just up here in the trees. We'll land up as close as we can. Maybe in this little bit of a clearing just here. Like a little grass patch. I'm not sure if this is where you'd actually land coming into the void if you were doing a drop off there, but I'm just going to see. It's a little bit of an upslope, but should be alright. Just still getting used to these physics that are not very not as responsive as I'd like them to be. Whoa, we dropped back on the ground there. So I sit there, it's sort of sliding. Anyway, we'll take off from here. Go have a little look at the hut. Yeah, it's just a generic building, obviously, that's just been placed. I think this may be the void hut and airstrip, maybe a scenery that I found online. It's just a freebie add-on for Flight Sim 2020. Because I think the elevation's been slightly flattened out there for the airstrips, and they've obviously used the terrain mod that you can use, which is one good thing with the Flight Sim 2020 scenery editor from what I've read, that you can adjust the terrain around your little airports you build, or your sceneries, or your helipads or whatever, so you can flatten it out, you can make it a lot more unique. Here goes a walking track, must be one of the main tracks into the void. Alright, we'll head back to base and we'll call that it for this video.
Squawk 0021 Clark Aviation.
I might put a Helisika paint job on the squirrel, just keep it looking a bit more legit for the videos, like it's theme of my X-Plane 12 ones. At least the New Zealand scheme anyway, the New Zealand Regio.
Roger, Clark Aviation 201.
It looks like it's a B3 at least anyway, this squirrel. It looks very similar to the one on X-Plane 12 from Cowan Sims. Might see if we can find the Oamaru hut on our way back too, and we'll try and land there. Maybe even check out East Creek. I've just sort of, after spending quite a bit of time in X-Plane, you know, I haven't really flown an FS2020 for probably the best part of, well, I did try it a month or so back, and it was just unflyable, so I gave up. But I hadn't flown it before that for quite a long time. But now seeing this is just making me want to go exploring, because it's just the smoothness of it, the overall sort of just awesomeness of the lighting and the shadow, the trees, everything about it. There's Oamaru Private over here somewhere. The Oamaru Dock Hut should be just over here somewhere. Is neat, quite a low res sort of stuff, but it's having it just helps add to the whole immersion. I'm just going to see if this thing picks up any dust too. It doesn't pick up dust unfortunately yet. I thought I'd noticed in some areas that it had kicked up dust, but it obviously doesn't. Alright, there's the Oamaru hut just there. Right, let's get out of here. Go have a quick look at the north arm. Or actually, we'll overfly the old Oamaru airstrip just up on the top of the ridge here. Here we go. A couple of different runways there to choose from. Back in the sort of south end of the Poronui Valley now. It's the Mohawk River below us. I think the East Creek hut should be just up this little side valley coming up here. I don't know if there'll be a hut there, but we'll should be able to see it on the auto. We'll just go up for a little cruise and come back out, then we'll head straight back for base. There's the little clearing where the East Creek is. Let's see, we've got a little hut there too. It looks like a 3D building at least. Yep, something there. Right, we'll head straight back for base. We'll do some more exploring in early mornings or late evenings when I get some time, and just see what it's like in the FS2020, because so far I'm really enjoying the difference after spending a bit of time in X-Plane. Even 12, it's like the lighting's better in 12, but this, I think just the overall scenery and the exciting level of exploration sort of that you can do is pretty cool. Just, I think having the that ortho with the trees like more accurately placed is like it's just a huge increase in the overall feel of the sim. Hopefully we'll get an updated like an overlay for the placement of Autogen and X-Plane 12 once it's been out for a while, and that it will be something similar to this. This is, it'd be very, like if they can make helicopters as physically, like the physics as real as what it's got in X-Plane 12, it will be very hard to go back to X-Plane after playing this, I can say that now, just with the frame rates. This is just, yeah, it's incredible. So I'll do some tests in my Reverb G2, and if that works now, I might even get some more higher resolution videos out of here. Right, there we are. Nearly on short finals. So there's not even any point trying to attempt water rotations or things like that in this. It's just not very realistic. You'll probably notice too here for the scenery for the Helisika base here, my brother's put a fictional runway in, because obviously there was only fixed wing and flights of 2020 to start with, so we had to have something we could take off and land on. Right, and that's where we're down. I don't think there's really any shutdown sequences or that on these, so I'll see if there is. I'll kind of, but yeah, it just kind of just cuts off. But so that's us. You can't walk around either, I don't think, the same extent you can in X-Plane with the controller, which is quite cool. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that. I don't know whether the next video will be an X-Plane 12 or a Flight Sim 2020, but stay tuned. Catch you then.